So welcome everybody officially to our first webinar of this beautiful 4-part series on embodied ascension. And today we're just going to be going deep into the physical plane and what is actually going on for the collective right now, what is going on Earth, what is going on in our physical bodies, and how to navigate this. You guys are also going to be receiving a beautiful light body activation. All right, so you guys are getting active in the chat already. I love it. So a couple pieces of housekeeping before we get into it. Hi, Candace. Hi, Linka. You made it. Beautiful. So happy to see you guys live, of course. So many of you know who have been around me and in my community for a while, who have come to my trainings, or some of you are my clients, some of you have done some of my past programs, some of you have done some of my past webinars. Whatever it is, whether you're new here or not, I want to just take a moment and welcome you, and I want to recognize you for showing up and being here today, for taking this time out for you, right? To take this time to take a little bit of this journey, right? Something called you here. Something landed you on one of my posts or one of my videos. Something I was talking about spoke to you. You had the nudge to register to be here, and you're here, right? And that's brilliant and that's beautiful. And so I want to recognize truly from the bottom of my heart, each of you, recognize you for showing up today. And I'm just going to invite you to play full out, right? Be here, be present. Shut down the windows, shut down the phone, get yourself a notebook so you can take some notes, get yourself a tasty beverage, whether it's a coffee or a tea or something else, right? Maybe you want something harder. I don't know. Find whatever it is, right? Bring any crystals you want to kind of hang out with while we're here, oils, candles, anything. Just anything that's going to allow you to really drop in and be here to receive. Because here's the beautiful thing, or all of the beverages at once, you know it, Sharon, right? Here's the thing about this, right? This entire thing is an activation. So this whole hour and probably about a half that we're going to go is an activation. Some of what is going to be being activated for each of you is going to be being activated outside of the intellectual mind. We're going to get more into that in a little bit, but I want to say that now. Some of you may already be beginning to feel in your physical bodies the energies, the frequencies coming through, because this is so much more than just a classroom. This is so much more than just words coming out of my mouth. You guys are receiving frequencies, you're receiving vibration, you're receiving so much right now, and you're all going to be receiving it on different levels. All right, how does that land for everybody? The other thing, a couple tech housekeeping pieces. For the comment and the chat, Lisa, hi. You guys know one of my love languages is engagement and interaction. Like, I love an engaged audience. It literally like fuels my soul. When I'm speaking or teaching to an audience that I can feel your excitement and your presence and your receptivity, and you want to answer the questions and you want to ask the questions and you want to throw up the yes, I love it. So I encourage you all to do that. Play full out, light up the chat box, drop any questions over there. I can answer some of them as we go, and then I'll come back and answer any at the end that I didn't get to. But yes, use that chat box. Speaking of the chat box, make sure that little blue box where you type in your comments says panelists and attendees, because if it only says panelists, I'm the only one who can see your comments, and that's fine. I don't care. But I think I enjoy for all of you, and I know that you all generally enjoy when you can all also see each other's comments, because it allows you to start seeing, oh, wow, look at all these people that also relate to this thing that I relate to. Look at, I'm not the only one, right? And it's an opportunity for you all to start kind of recognizing and seeing that there is an entire community around us that is going through the same thing. Right? And that's like the basis of everything we're doing here. So make sure that little box says panelists and attendees. I mean, unless you're in super secret mode and you only want me to see your comments, that's totally fine too. I respect either way. But if you are looking for the, the connection in the community, then just make sure it says panelists and attendees. Other than that, again, those of you that have come to my webinars before, or been in, or have coached with me, or know me, you all know. So basically the way these trainings go, Trisha, hello. Hello, hello. And Linka, I'm the only one that's going to be on camera because this is webinar style. Yeah. So you guys aren't on video right now. A little bit different than the Zoom rooms like we did in the challenge. Um, you guys know that the way that these go, my intention, right? My intention for this entire journey, this entire 4-part series is for you all to get activated, right? For you to receive expanded perspectives and start to have some ahas, and for you to really just start to have the information and the knowledge to understand how to navigate what we're going through right now. You're also going to be getting tools in how to navigate this time. And of course, I will tell you what it's, how you can come and work with me more if you know that you do want deeper work, right? If you're ready for a coach or a guide, I'll share with you throughout how you could come and work with me. So I do suggest, right, take the notes, right? Things that stand out to you, jot them down, write yourself notes, allow yourself the space to, when we finish, go and make some notes and journal, because that's going to start like showing you where your process is going to be, right? So give yourself that, let yourself have that. Now, that being said, these webinars are not scripted, right? My webinars never are. I have some notes that I generally will jot down just to kind of keep myself on track. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. But I also leave room for consciousness to come through, right? Because this is a co-creation. This is me. This is my higher self. This is higher consciousness. We have some beautiful light beings that are supporting this activation. So I like to allow space for whatever that needs to come through to serve all of you to come through, to make sure that you all get the most and best out of this experience. So that being said, that means that we can talk about anything from aliens and UFOs to consciousness to religion to Jesus to earth to history. Like, it's all fair game here, right? It is all fair game here. All information is fair game, and at any time may be discussed here in this space. And the other disclaimer is that when I get really excited and passionate, sometimes I get loud, sometimes I talk fast, and sometimes I drop F-bombs. So as long as all of those things sound good to you and you're okay with that, give me a yes in the comments, and we know that you're in the right place. We know, yes, right? We know, hey, Carrie, that we have the right people here. And it's just, I like to say that because I recognize that on this journey, and I want you guys to recognize it too, right? Because we're your peeps, you know it, right? Yes. I love you all. On this journey, one of the constructs that we are dismantling is this idea of like hierarchy and like guru, right? And it's like summed up in like this spiritual master floating around on a lotus flower, and he has no emotions and like not a whole lot of personality, right? And don't get me wrong, like there's power in being able to move into that level of command of yourself and non-reaction, but we've also been kind of fed this picture that we're not supposed to be human either, right? And so I am not your typical spiritual teacher at all. And I just, all I can do is offer and share the wisdom that comes through my channel, what has worked for me, what I plug into, the connections that I make, and pass it on to all of you so that it can support your journey, right? And that's what I'm here to do. So I think I got all the housekeeping. Cool. Like I said, remember, so a lot of what we're going to talk about, thank you for not being typical, right? Authenticity. Hands up for authenticity, right? Give me, give me the hands up in the comments if you know that one of your soul codes is truly authenticity, right? Like you just know that you are here to be authentic. You know that you're here to lead the way to more true, authentic expression, and that you know that you have craved that your entire life. And you also know that anytime you've been shoved into a box or told that you have to act a certain way or be a certain way, you have like, even if at the time you went along with it, because let's be real, right? As children, we all get shoved into the obedience. Jennifer, I see you, right? but you know internally that you were like, oh no, there's just something not right about this, right? That feeling of like there is just something not right about this. And you have felt that in your gut, because this is for you if that is you, right? Those of you that have gone through life feeling, knowing there's more, right? Knowing in your heart there's more, but never, like, not quite being able to fully grasp or put your finger on what that is, right? So if that's you, you're in the right place. Welcome. The other piece, so the links and the replays, because I know this is a little bit different of a format than I usually do, so I just wanted to take a moment. So once you guys have registered for this goes for you all catching this on replay too. You're going to receive the links for each of the live days. You'll get those the day before, and the morning of it comes again. You'll get the Zoom links to come and join that. Later on tonight, I'm going to be sending out a link where all of the replays are going to live forever. So you're going to have one, Lori, such a relief in hearing that, right? David, I see you guys. One link, and then each time the replay is complete, each time we do the live session, they're going to get loaded into that same page. So you're going to have all 4 videos in one place, one home for you to go back to as much as possible. Even if I eventually take it down and make it like a little paid course, you guys will still have access to that as the beautiful souls who came and joined me live. Because I do recommend watching these multiple times, even over the next couple of weeks. You go back in a week and you watch today's session, you'll be like, oh my God, I just shifted so much in the last week. So I highly encourage that. I highly, highly encourage, because of the multi-layered nature of these transmissions and what happens here. You receive differently at different times, and it's a lot through frequency and vibration and what's coming through the quantum. Cool? Cool. All right. So I think that's the last bit of housekeeping. So for those of you who are new to me, just a little bit about me. I kind of was that person, right? Like how I ended up here is what I really want to just pass on to you, and why I do this, right? Because it's like, okay, why, right? Great. This person, why is she doing this? Let's just be real, right? The human mind wants to question everything. And I went through life always, always, always knowing that I had a purpose, right? I was driven by this like internal knowing of like, okay, I have a purpose. Like, I'm not just here to go and get a job. Like that was never appealing to me. I wasn't interested in like having a career. I wasn't interested in rushing out to get married. I wasn't interested in rushing out to go to college. I wasn't interested in any of those things. And I was very much on my own track for much of my life. Now that didn't, please understand, that was not always in a healthy and conducive manner. I took, the extreme left turn, and I went extremely deep into the matrix and the slave grid. We're going to be talking all about that today, right? And the way that that manifested in my life was addiction and depression and anxiety. I had cancer in my 20s. So there was all these pieces of the puzzle. It was just blockage, and it was distortion, and it was frustration, and it was struggle. Okay. And even when I was in it, I was like, there has to be something more. There has to be something more. Like, I just knew that that wasn't it. And I never stopped pushing. So then about 7 years ago, I had like a flash, like soul step in, like spiritual awakening, where my higher consciousness like came in, and like I had this moment of awakening where I just like let go of any idea that I knew anything about life. Exactly, Trisha. Sometimes we have to go the wrong way to find the right path, because there is no wrong way. Ultimately, it leads us there, and we're always being led there. And the more we zoom out, the more we can recognize that, right? And that's what this whole series is about, being able to zoom out and recognize we are where we are, and it's perfect. And yes, whatever we want is possible. So I had this moment of awakening, and it was like everything happened very rapidly after that. I started, really being able to channel in energy. I just started kind of knowing stuff. I started recognizing the patterns. I started recognizing my power. I started having all these crazy rapid like manifestation times happening in my life, but I didn't understand the mechanics of it all, right? So I was still living kind of like powerless. I was like empowered because now I was creating stuff that I wanted instead of what I didn't want, but I didn't understand the mechanics of it enough to actually create on demand, right? Let me know in the comments if that resonates with you. Like if you are, kind of tell me where you guys feel you're at on your own journey. Like, are you newly awakened? Did you just wake up? You're just starting to question everything. Maybe you woke up a while ago and now you're kind of getting the mechanics and getting your feet under you. Maybe you've been awake for a long time and you're just ready for like the next level of expansion. Let me know in the comments where you feel like you're at while I tell you this next part. And so and what I want to hear is if you guys have known, like you understand manifestation and you understand energy and you understand frequency and vibration, but you still find yourself bumping up against some walls in certain places. Like maybe in some areas you're like, damn, look what I created in my life, right? But then in other areas you're like, why can't I fucking stop creating in this loop, right? And basically the crux of what I want to hear is that all of you do believe in some part of you, even if you're not quite sure how, but that you do believe you are the creator of your reality on some level, right? Do I have anybody here who does not believe that they fully create their own reality? Even if you, like I said, it's okay if you're a little bit doubtful or unsure, but some part of you upon hearing that is like, yeah, okay, I could get with that. And I'm only asking this because if you really do not believe that at all, you're probably in the wrong place. And you're probably going to be upset by a lot of what I say today. And that's totally okay. Totally okay. It's just why waste, your time and energy being here if most of what I say is just going to bother you. But most of the time that vibration doesn't end up in my trainings, obviously, for obvious reasons. So there I was, right? I went on my journey. I then started, doing my coaching and my healing work. I wrote my books. I started my own business and I was like pushing because I was like, I know I'm here to help people. I know I'm here to help people, right? I knew that all of my struggle and suffering was going to be part of what I was here to do in a bigger picture. And through starting my own business, I then got to take the even deeper journey, which led me to my next awakening and expansion, where I was really able to drop in and start unplugging myself from the matrix, the control programs of 3D, right? Those things that keep us looping in lack, powerlessness, scarcity, victim, dis-ease. Today, we're going to be talking heavily on the physical plane. Okay. So we're going to be talking a lot about the body and a lot about how physically we're meant to, our natural state is health, alignment, vitality, long life, all of that, right? But in the 3D matrix, we're programmed to be living in disconnection, dis-ease, lack of energy, here, take a pill, all of these things, right? I know I had cancer in my 20s. I did the whole pharmaceutical route because I wasn't awake at that time. I did the chemo and the radiation and it was miserable. And I didn't understand what cancer was or how I had created it at the time that I had it. So I went that route. It wasn't until years later that I fully understood why and how I created that, right? And I'll talk more about that as we get more into the physical. But that's all how and why I ended up here. Because I knew that like I could never be happy unless I was living in a greater purpose. So two things for me to be happy, right? I have to be like free and expanding, constantly expanding my own consciousness, my own evolution, my own knowledge. Give me a yes if that's you. And then I have to also be contributing to a greater cause. Like those are two of my like predominant soul blueprint templates, right? It's the service and contribution, and then like the freedom to be expanding and growing and evolving. So if either one of those things relate, like you relate to those, tell me in the comments. Like, do you relate to, are you somebody who knows, oh, you're just driven and obsessed with your own evolution? Like you're obsessed with learning. You love all the things, whether it's the mental mindset stuff, whether it's the self-help books, whether it's the yoga class, the meditation, whatever it is, you just love it, right? Can't learn enough, can't expand enough. awesome. Or to the other two that you know, and you're just fucking obsessively driven by like this knowing that you have a purpose. Is that anybody else or is that only me? Right? Because I could not ever like, I just couldn't let go of this idea that I had a purpose. When I was in nursing school, I was like, okay, no, it's bigger than this. This isn't right. Like, this isn't right. This isn't all there is. I knew it was more. I knew it was more. Sharon, right? I know you are, Sharon. Beautiful, Lisa. I know I have a purpose, but not sure exactly how. And that's part of this work, you guys. Please get that. Oh, that's the perfect segue for me to say this. And so, Lisa, that's exactly why I do the work that I do, right? Because I was in the same boat, right? I know I have a purpose, but what the F is it? How do I get there? What is it? What is it? And I was running around the external world looking for somebody else to tell me what my purpose was, right? Can you like sum up the 3D matrix any like better than that? Please, guru, mentor, master, tell me what my purpose is, because I don't know. I don't have the answers, right? And so all of my work is about taking beautiful souls like all of you through the journey to be able to find those answers within yourself. And when you find them, you trust them. Because there's a whole formula as we heal. This is why the healing piece, the ascension piece, and the alchemy piece is so, so, so important. I cannot stress anything more deeply. If you guys take nothing else from today, take the understanding that your purpose and your higher mission is going to come directly from your pain and your suffering in the areas you have struggled. That's why it is so important to do the deeper healing work and the alchemy work, right? We don't want to get stuck in that, not because we're broken or there's something wrong with us. It's because it's the alchemy, right? The alchemy of turning, shifting, transmuting the pain into purpose. It's not about being broken or wounded or weak or there's something wrong. It's about the alchemical journey, turning that dense thing, your pain and your suffering, into something higher frequency, which is your purpose, right? Do you guys feel that? So that's why I do this work. That's what my coaching is all about. That's my entire work in the world is about that. That's why I do these trainings. That's why I have the Facebook group. That's why I make TikToks. That's why I have coaching programs. That's why I have a YouTube, all of it, right? Because it's all for the different layers. Somebody finds me, they start out here, then they're ready to go deeper, 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 deeper. Obviously, there's only one of me, right? I can't work with everybody. That's why I have layers from free stuff to deep dive like VIP coaching, right? Something for everybody. And learning about myself, and I have been forever. I love that. I'm just coming back on your comments before we move on. All right. Started for you fairly young. Something wasn't right. Yes, 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 yes. Sharon, I love it. You're so good. Moments of bravery. Yep. Beautiful. Awake for a long time. Aha. Lenka, perfect. Questioning myself and everyone around me. Kind of feels like I'm going crazy. And I get these waves of fear. Beautiful. Thank you for your honesty. I see what when I've created something negative. Lisa, good. David, woke up 3 weeks ago and my life has changed drastically in a good way. I do believe. Yeah. Jennifer, newly awakened. Yay. Patty, been awake for a while, but run into blocks in specific areas. Yes. Awesome. Carrie. Slip back and wonder how I can do that. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Needing a level up. Trisha, I feel you, girl. I've missed you. I'm questioning everything, but still feel like I'm at the beginning. Beautiful. Big awakening in 2007. Cool. All right, you guys, awesome. We must go first. Exactly, you guys. Patty, why am I here? Yeah. Right? You guys feel it. Beautiful. I wish the Zoom would let me love all of these comments. Send it with the frequency, Sharon. They feel you, right? You guys all feel each other. I'm sure of it. Beautiful. Okay. So what if I told you now that a big piece of your purpose is this moment in time? What if I told you that? What if I told you that a part of your purpose is this very time right now that we are living in? This ascension journey where we're going from 3D to 5D. And what does that even mean? Right? What if I told you that? Does that resonate like truth? Does that feel like something that excites you? I would say I've been feeling like that a bit. Yes. Then you're in the right place again. Confirmed. So this journey, right? Because there's a lot. The reason that the title of this series is called Embodied Ascension is because there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to ascension. And I hate that word, misinformation. It's not even that it's like misinformation. It's just that there's not a full understanding of it. Okay. Because there's this program that runs in us. And please get, you guys, okay, let me just make one more disclaimer. Please get anything we talk about, okay, even if we're talking about the densest of the matrix programs, right? We're not doing it from a place of condemnation or judgment. Even if we're talking about people that are still full blown asleep in total victim consciousness, we're doing it knowing the perfection of where they're at and that it's perfect for their journey. It's perfect. They're perfect. We're perfect. It's all happening perfectly, right? And so that we're not judging or condemning when we're recognizing. We're simply recognizing so that we can, for the mind's purpose, begin to place ourselves in this journey. It's not a hierarchy. Nobody's better than or worse than. It's a journey that we're all on through frequency. Okay. And so there's this matrix program that runs of, like wanting things to hurry up, right? Wanting it to happen faster, right? We all want to wake up overnight and like, boom, like the Amazon same day delivery. Like we want that for ascension, right? Like I've seen people posting things like, well, I just woke up in 5D. Okay, no, you didn't. Like, and I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just, it's not that simple. Like it is, but it's not, right? It's a journey, right? Yes, we are beginning, depending on where you're at and how much your physical body has purged. Yes, we're all beginning to hold more and more and more levels of our higher consciousness in our physical bodies. However, we are not living in 5D yet, obviously, right? Like all we need to do is look around at the dismantling and what is being revealed to understand that we have not yet anchored this plane into the fifth dimension. Okay. And so just a little bit, like this is a process and the journey is happening perfectly. Okay. And I just want to, I want to like, because I want this to be a grounded conversation, right? I want to give, all of you who receive this a very grounded and understandable experience and like the codes and the templates coming in so that as you're down here in human form, your human is not like going crazy wondering what the fuck is going on. Because a lot of this stuff from a higher consciousness perspective, you're going to be like, yep, totally get that, got it, totally makes sense. But when we drop back into our human and try to understand it with the intellect, it's going to be like, does not compute, right? Does not compute. So what I want to ask you guys, right? Like, have you noticed in the world? So two things. Have you noticed in the world the complete like opposition of experiences people have been having for the last year? Let's just use the last year, for example, the last 18 months. Right? Can we just stop and recognize that we are living in whatever reality we're living in, right? And none of this, you guys, I'm going to use a lot of things that are happening in the world right now as examples, right? Masks, vaccines, elections, all of these things. And please just understand that I'm not telling you what to think or believe. They're the perfect examples for everything that's happening, right? Ultimately, I want you all to make the decision that is best for you when it comes to all things. But what I want you to start to look at is as we're going through the world, right? Now, does everybody know somebody who is like completely afraid of COVID? Like maybe they're double masking, maybe they're getting all the vaccines, maybe they haven't seen anybody, they're just, right? Like we've all seen people like that are just living in full blown fear, right? Okay, good. And we're not judging them. Remember, remembering the perfection of exactly where they're at. Okay, Carrie, yes, so your family, good. Okay. And then maybe you look at your own kind of approach to this, right? Like many people I know are kind of like, well, obviously there's a virus because people are getting sick, but something doesn't add up. And I don't think I'm being told the truth, right? So there's all this questioning starting to happen. And most of the people that think like that, if they need to go into the store and the store is demanding they wear a mask, they'll wear the mask, but they're probably not doing it everywhere else, right? Um, Sharon, I move back and forth between fear and fine. Awesome. And thank you for sharing that, Sharon, because that's the epitome of 4D. Okay. Right. So coming back to our conversation about 3D to 5D, how do we get there? And people wanting to just wake up in 5D and poof, magic wand portal opened, your sick, diseased body is left behind. And now you're just in this perfect utopia of 3D. That would be nice, but that's not what's happening. All right. And so now I have a little picture for you guys. Okay. So that's not what is happening. And all of these beautiful four webinars we're going to do together is the journey of this physical layer, mental layer, emotional layer, energetic layer, because this is happening on all four. We're going to take the journey from a linear perspective for the mind, talk about the physical today, the emotional next week, the mental, and then the energetic and spiritual. Okay. But please get, it's not happening in a linear fashion. It's happening on all levels. And for each of you, depending on where you've held the density the most, that's where you're going to be feeling it. All right. So you might hear things today and be like, my physical body feels great. But then on Monday, when we talk about emotions, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's where I'm feeling it. Or some of you may be like, oh my God, yes, feeling it all in the physical body. And then when we talk about emotions, you're like, oh, my emotions feel pretty good. Okay. So just please get, it's all perfect. I drew you guys pictures because I couldn't figure out how to make this into a slide. Okay. So basically what's happening here, Lori, emotions are all over. Anxiety has been a real constant. Yes. Gary, you love my pics. So here we are. Okay. In our physical form. Here is our higher consciousness self, right? Our higher consciousness self, higher self, soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. Your higher consciousness self already exists in higher frequency dimensions. Like, do you guys get that? You already, does everybody agree that we exist beyond the physical body? Or does anybody here still believe they are only this body? That there's nothing to you beyond this physical body. This physical body dies and you're done. No, right? Okay, good. Yes, yes, yes. So that you, right? The you that maybe when you meditate, you find yourself observing yourself. That you that kind of speaks from the higher wise mind. This body is the avatar. Exactly, Lori. That's the you that's higher consciousness, right? Now, up until now, we've only been able to access like boop, this like little trickle of that coming through because we just haven't been able to hear it. Okay. So that part of us already exists depending on your soul and the consciousness you originate from. Some of you may be up into the freaking 20th, 30th, 40th dimension on the highest consciousness level, right? I mean, ultimately, we all end up back there, going back to source and God, right? But as it all breaks down, we're just going to keep it down here for our purposes today. So your higher consciousness has already been up there, okay? Your physical body is actually a fifth dimensional technology, but like a computer that is like overrun and like it's just got like programs running and faulty code and viruses running, that has anchored the physical vessel into us believing it's a third dimensional machine. The physical body was designed to be able to hold and exist in fifth dimensional consciousness. So it's the physical body that is ascending. The physical body is ascending. Higher consciousness, more of our higher consciousness is descending to come into the body. And where we're going to meet is in 5D, where the physical body is going to be transformed and evolved into more light-based and crystalline-based instead of carbon-based. right? So that's why it's purging density, it's purging disease, it's purging programs that have us believing, we have to die at a certain age, that we're going to run out of energy, all of those things, right? These are being purged as the body ascends. The more the body ascends, the more of our higher consciousness can come in and we can recognize it. Okay. So this is essentially just like a physical hardware and software upgrade that we're all in the process of receiving, right? It's like if you have a computer and the computer itself is old, and maybe, it's not a Mac, so it's got a bunch of viruses because you tried to use Windows, and we all know what Windows is. If you know, you know. Um, Anyways, so your computer has a bunch of viruses and it's just bogged down with code and old hardware. And you're like, okay, but instead of just chucking out the computer, there's this part of you that knows, like, I can take this thing apart, I can upgrade the components, I can put in like a new RAM, I can put in a new processor, boom, 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 I can put it all back together, and whoosh, it's like I have a brand new supercomputer, right? Or a car, right? You have this 1956 beautiful, like it's a Chevy, but oh my God, it's just beat up, it's rusted, the engine is falling apart, and you're like, God, that would make a beautiful car if it was restored. So you take the car, you build a newer, more modern engine, you make it efficient, you upgrade the seats, you like redo all the dials, right? And you repaint it, you get new tires, and all of a sudden you have this beautiful car that looks brand new. It's been restored, but everything's also been upgraded, right? So this is the process we're in. So just like that car, you can't snap your fingers and the car is restored overnight, right? It's a process that you have to go in there. That's what's happening. Now the beautiful thing is that none of us have to manage this process. We're not in charge of it, not down here on the human level. Right? Where are all my control freaks at? Raise your hand if you know that you like to control things. To be honest. I don't know what you mean. I love you guys. I used to be a control freak. Yeah. Hi. Oh my God. I love you guys. Like this just, I can't believe I get to do this. Like this is my life when it comes to cleaning. Perfect. So we all have our things, right? I know my husband's like, can you just chill with like the vacuuming and the floors? You're a little bit I was like, I'm not OCD when it comes to cleaning. And he's like, I beg to differ when it comes to the dog hair on the floors. So, right, we all have our things. So me, I was that person when it came to like my business and money, um, where I would like be, setting my sights on like I have really big dreams, right? I have really big goals and millions of people I want to help. So obviously I want large amounts of financial backing so that I can reach, really make like a global movement, right? Abundance is a resource. And so I would do intention setting and, manifestation and focus around shifting my money reality. And then every 2 seconds, it's like I would be micromanaging the universe, right? Same thing with my business. Like, okay, I want to grow. And then I'd be like, micromanage, checking every 2 seconds. Did it happen yet? Did it happen yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Right? Give me a yes if you know you're someone who envisions something for yourself, right? Oh, yeah. And then you're like, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it here yet? So tell me, do you guys think that like when we're doing that, that we are in trust? Do you trust, do you micromanage people that you trust? Has anybody ever had a boss that micromanaged them and it drove them crazy? So my the very last job that I had, which was the job that catapulted me, thank you very much, into understanding my own wisdom and power, a lot of lessons at that job. And it was a husband and wife, and the husband was kind of like our direct manager, and he like would micromanage everything, and it drove me crazy. It drove me crazy, right? Because it offered me the opportunity to recognize, wow, this isn't even about me. Like this is him, right? And when we can start to recognize that what other people are doing isn't about us, there's power in that. But we'll get more about that, as we continue on this journey. My point here is the micromanaging, right? So we're not in trust when we're micromanaging. Oftentimes, this comes from like unresolved trauma, right? And I just want to like speak to that for a second, because a lot of what the physical body is releasing as it ascends is trauma, whether it's ancestral, whether it's past life, whether it's hours from this life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's big trauma like abuses and assaults or war or it doesn't even have to be. It can be small like micro traumas, right? Like we have to stop minimizing our traumas. I'm getting there, Linka. Right? Um, we have to stop, we have this tendency to go through life and like minimize everything and just act like, no, 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 it's fine. Like, I'm fine. Right. And then this is coming back to what I was saying about, right? Sometimes being able to manifest and then in other areas not. Okay. Everything that we are attracting into our reality and creating for ourselves is a direct reflection of the belief we have in that area. Now, that's what we're going to be going deep on when we talk about the mental, conscious, and subconscious. All right. So that's the third webinar. Make sure you guys are on all of them, but make sure you guys, if you can't be there live, watch the replays and receive all the parts, because we're going to be talking about how to get that conscious and subconscious into alignment so the path can be smoother. Okay. So to answer your question in kind of a short answer, Lenka, yes and no. Right? So yes, we can sit back and relax if we can truly relax. If we can't relax and we've got all these attachments and all of these like control things and all of these emotional anchors and unresolved trauma points, well, that's what's going to make the journey be like a freaking earthquake, right? Because we're going to be trying to control it, we're going to be resisting it. So in short, yes, like if you could actually sit back and relax, then yes, just enjoy the ride, buckle up, play, have fun, do the thing, take care of yourself, and that's that. Most of us, though, are not going to be able to do that, right? Because there are all of these plugins and attachments and puppet strings, if you will. Okay. So, Lori, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Lori. I thought trauma wasn't a part of my life. My recent anxiety attacks are shedding light on years of trauma that I had suppressed. Exactly. Okay, you guys, because we suppress and we minimize all these things, right? And like I said, it doesn't even necessarily have to be some big, horrible trauma. Like it could just, okay. So in doing my own deeper work, it actually, I have plenty of big, larger traumas, right? When it comes to this life, past life, ancestral, there's all kinds of stuff, abuses, assault, emotional, sexual, right? All of these things, drug addiction, right? Obviously, when you're living in drug addiction, you kind of bring all kinds of really messed up situations to yourself, right? However, what I found was that it usually wasn't even in the moments of those really like the bigger ones that you would think. Most of my limiting beliefs and the commands that were keeping me anchored in powerlessness were actually connected to very, very, what I would deem from this perspective, minor moments of like being misunderstood, feeling like I was being put in, like there was a lot of dynamics that got put into play for me through the dynamic of my childhood, right? Older sister, younger brother, um, being in the middle, and my parents, right? And then also some past life stuff and these very deeply ingrained programs of just not being enough, not being worthy, um, not being safe to express, not feeling safe in my emotions. And so give me a yes if you know you're somebody who feels very deeply, and that you know that in your life you have felt overwhelmed at times by your emotions, right? So one of my biggest limited beliefs and commands that came from a trauma moment was a moment where I was like 3 or 4 years old. I was so angry at my sister, and I made myself, in that moment, I made myself wrong for getting angry at her. And I was confused at how I could, because I was also this very loving child, right? So I made myself wrong in that moment for how could I be so angry at her? How could I be so, and how is she being so mean to me? Right. And I made up this story. I put meaning on it, and that followed me for the rest of my life, you guys, until the past couple years till I started doing this work. Patty, middle child syndrome is a whole thing in itself, right? And that's what, like, you guys, like, sometimes that's the power of doing this deeper work that I do, the power of letting yourself go in, and through certain processes consciousness will guide you, and that's how you align the conscious and the subconscious. But again, I'm going to go much deeper on that as we get into that. But so what's happening right now, how that all ties into what we're talking about in the physical body. Exactly, Lori, right? We push and hold the emotions, that those traumas, those stories, those commands, we hold them in our physical body. So much of this stuff is ancestral, right? Ancestral lineage, right? Who knows that in their family every damn person has like struggled with money? Maybe they have some sometimes and then they don't, or maybe it's addiction, or maybe it's depression, right? Or maybe it's failure, or maybe it's just divorce, or maybe it's a certain freaking heart condition, addiction, right? So have you guys ever wondered, right? Yeah, they tell us it's just genetics, but who thinks it's actually a little bit more than genetics? Heart disease, cancer. I watched my parents lose our a wealthy life overnight. Yep, good, 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 good. Okay. So all of these things get embedded into our DNA, right? It actually gets programmed into our DNA, and then it just keeps repeating, because not just on a physical level, but then on an energetic level too. Like, we have an entire set of energetic codes and templates and DNA that is contributing to who we are down here on the physical. It's all connected. Okay. So we repeat and we repeat and we repeat, and we've been doing this unconsciously for so long. Why? It's because, like, when we're in that unconscious pattern, we're easier to control, right? Because when we become conscious and we start questioning, why does everybody in my family have to experience this? That's the questions, right? Questioning. Why do you guys think that they don't want anybody questioning anything right now? Please don't be fooled, you guys. Like, collectively, what is happening in the world right now with all of it, that there is a spiritual and psychological war happening. Okay. And I'm not going to get too into that, because I'm not going to go down into the whole of that conversation. It's for another day. But there are beings, humans, whoever they are, that do not want the collective to ascend. Because if humanity, the collective of humanity, ascends, we stop being able to be controlled. We stop being the sheep and the chattel for their agendas. Okay. I don't care what their agendas are, holding them all in perfection as well. They're here doing their thing, and that's fine. I just know that I'm not here to play in that anymore, because I'm here to have a free and sovereign experience, to create my own reality, and to support others who want to move into creating their own reality, right? So ascension is the key. That's why questioning is the key, right? And that's why they don't want us to question. So we have to be able to question, starting with ourselves, right? We have to be able to start looking at and saying, okay, here's this physical thing that I'm experiencing. Well, why am I experiencing it? Right? Instead of writing everything off to, well, it's just the way it is, or, oh, it must be because of my diet, or, oh, because of this, right? Like, what if I told you that the physical body is constantly trying to come into harmony, into alignment, and into health? Of course it is, because the physical body in itself is highly intelligent technology, and it's being recreated constantly through the power of the subconscious. So why then does it recreate in dis-ease and disorder and chronic illness? Does anybody want to take a stab at answering that? And then I'm going to explain to you what's happening with ascension and the physical and why these things are. Do we need to know why this runs in my family in order to heal that lineage? So that can go both ways, right? Sometimes like there it's less about like the why per se of the exact moment and more about recognizing the command that is lodged into the subconscious, that is in the conscious, that is getting right, because some of it gets into the DNA. And so as we clear and as the body ascends and our DNA starts unraveling and lighting up and shifting, and pieces of our DNA that have been dormant start becoming active, and we start clearing these loops, some of it will rectify naturally, but other ones we really have to just recognize that like, oh, okay, there was that. And then some of them can be cleared by doing what's like a past life or an ancestral, where you go in and you you go to the moment and you see why, and you look at the command that was created, and then you see how it's been repeating, and then you move to enlightenment, and that then starts to clear the track of the lineage. So there's power in the why. It definitely speeds up the process. Spiritual warfare, right? I'm just reading through your comments here. Yes, exactly, Lori. We're a threat. Used to think it was, but now I know it's more cool. All right. Chakra. Okay, good. Your answer. So chakra blocks, emotional, mental shit stored in us, safe homeostasis. Yeah, cool. All right. So the reason we keep recreating, yeah, you guys are getting there. Everything you said is partially right and contributes to it. It's because we haven't consciously recognized and allowed ourselves to believe that something else is possible. Because we're running on unconscious, we're running on autopilot, right? And what happens is when we're consciously told over and over and over again, oh, like your grandma and your grandpa and everybody, died of a heart attack at 60. And we just hear this, and then it's also in the DNA. And then we also live in the same fucking energetic and emotional and mental pattern that everybody else lived in. It just keeps repeating, right? And then maybe we start to wake up and we start to say, okay, I don't have to have this experience. I'm not here for this experience. And we start to then like do the work. We have to start by getting the conscious mind to recognize, well, wow, maybe I've been misinformed. And then we start doing the work to get the conscious mind to accept that health is possible or a different track is possible. Right. And those are those moments of aha, right? When you have that moment of like, oh, because once the conscious mind recognizes and starts saying, okay, maybe health is possible, that then starts dropping into the subconscious, and then the subconscious will start recreating the body in health. Right. But we have to have removed any plugins and attachments to that. Because here's the thing. Aha. Yes. Good. If we're attached to a physical issue or identity or description, or even just the fact like, okay, man, woman, not man, woman, right? Like any of it. I'm just talking on a physical level, skin color. Why do you guys think right now there are a couple of topics in the forefront of our faces? Gender and skin color and religion. Why do you guys think this is? But especially the gender and the skin color, because these are the way that they divide us based on our physical vessels, right? Because what happens if we all start to recognize that we are not our bodies? Can you really fight over something that's not you? That would be as dumb as going outside and fighting with your neighbor because he has a red Ford and you have a blue Toyota, right? So can you see the manufacturing of like division? Because that is, what better way to distort and anchor people into thinking that they are this body than by having them be attached through trauma to their skin color or their gender or their not gender or their whatever fucking label they want to go by. Like, it doesn't even matter, right? So this is all trauma being manipulated, right? The trauma becomes like the puppet strings of reaction. And it's the same thing with these issues that repeat through our genetics and our DNA from our ancestors. And then it's also just the same thing with something maybe that we've accumulated in this life, right? So for me, it was like I had herniated discs in my neck from back when I was in my early 20s. And excuse me, all through my 20s, they fueled my addiction because I was in pain, right? And I was attached to that pain because it gave me an excuse for the addiction. So when we can start to look at where am I attaching to what my physical body is experiencing, right? That's the power question. Where am I attaching to what my physical body is experiencing? Awesome, Sharn. Thanks for being here. Yeah, you'll get the replay too to do the light body activation. And when we can start recognizing that we're more than that, that's what starts to make this process totally start to shift, right? So if you can imagine for a second, coming back to, how are you guys feeling, first of all? Because I'm dropping a lot on you. So let's just like take a break, shake it out. Woo! Take a big breath in, let it go. Let all that information just start to integrate, drop in, and share with me in the comments what has been your biggest aha so far. What's something you've learned so far? We're just clearing the cache, and then we're going to switch directions a little bit and move into our activation. Can you say that again about where we are attaching to our bodies? Yes. What did I say? I don't remember what I said, Carrie. I'm going to have to get it from the replay. That's the channel being open. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be, right? No worries, Carrie. Yeah, we'll get it in the replay. Unless somebody else wrote that down. What did I say about attaching to our bodies? And that's the thing, you guys, when the channel's open, stuff just comes through. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying. Yes. So where I want to shift to is coming back to looking at, right? So the body is ascending, higher consciousness is descending. Light is supporting us in this, right? High frequency light and energy and vibration. Oh, there you go, Carrie, where I'm attaching to what my physical body is experiencing. That was the question, is where am I attaching to what my physical body is experiencing? So whether that's a pain or a disease or an illness or a diagnosis, whatever. Awesome. You guys are so engaged. I love it. All right. So there's this high frequency energy coming in, not just in our consciousness, because please get, you guys, Earth is also ascending. Earth, Gaia consciousness is also raising the frequency because she's ascending to be able to hold us in a higher dimension. So all of this is happening, and it's being supported by high frequency light and energy coming in. So if you can imagine for a second a big jar, and the big jar is full of rocks and sand and pebbles, and then we start pouring water into that jar, what's going to happen, right? Like, the water is going to start seeping in through the sand first, and it'll start pushing and moving the sand. Some of the sand will start to come out, right? You guys see it? And then if we increase the flow of water, it's probably going to start to push some of those pebbles out, right? And then if we turn on like the full fucking fire hose, it's going to blast the bigger rocks. out of that jar, right? And so essentially, that's what's happening. Now you guys all have the option, right? You can feel the frequencies coming in, breaking up the sand, and start willingly doing your work exactly like a detox, okay? You can start willingly doing the deeper work to support your ascension, which is going to make it so much smoother and more conscious because you're consciously going to go in there with like a precision tool, bring the rocks out, break them up a little bit, yeah, it'll be uncomfortable and it's not all going to be roses, but what do you think feels, let me just ask you guys, okay? I'll put the ball in your court. What do you think will feel better? The high frequency hose coming in because you wouldn't do the work and now it's got to go in and just freaking blast you into oblivion like a colon cleanse, right? Exactly. Or the light coming in, the sand beginning to break up, and you then willingly commit to and invest in yourself to go and do the deeper work and be supported, which basically means you get to kind of like float down the river, have a little bit precision surgery every little bit. Sometimes there might be some like rapids, or the power hose, and basically you're getting chucked down Niagara Falls in a freaking wooden barrel. Which one do you guys want? How do you want your ascension to go? Carrie, we want the hose. No, we don't want the hose. We want the results of the hose, right? Better not to go down Niagara Falls, right? We just want the results of the hose. We want the fast results. But if we're in that ride, right? I know it's a little bit crazy. But we want the hose because we think like, oh God, right? We're going to hurry up and get there, but we're not. And it's all perfect. The point is that like, what if this is, here we go. Thank you. So what if you could have the rapid results of the hose with the gentler journey? That's option 3. And I'll tell you how you get each option, right? So the hose comes from the universe, from source, from soul, when we refuse to kind of do our work. And then we're going to get basically bitch slapped and thrown over the falls, right? Option 1 is like okay, yeah, like I'm here for it, but I really want to try to control it and do it on my terms. And I don't really think it's important enough to, invest in, or I don't really, I'm not fully committed. So I'm not ready for that yet. And then option 3 is you put up, you line up, you make the choice, you start to awaken and you move into it, right? And you just, you go with it and you come and work with me. That's how we do option 3, right? We get to do precision and we do it together. Yeah. Interesting suggestion. Like we can think for ourselves to make it. Yes, 100%. 100%. Sign me up for 3. Yeah. I know some of you are going to be ready and I love it. There is meaning in going through the process. Yes, all of it. There's meaning in every bit of it. So Lori, I thought I was ascending nice and peaceful, all gentle, then bam, down Niagara I'm going. And that sometimes is the way of it too, because sometimes there are things outside of our awareness that we have to address. And those can be the moments. But the difference is when you understand. So by the time you guys are done with these 4 classes and you have the whole picture, you're going to be able to be in this from an expanded perspective, which is going to like allow you the tools to navigate it. So that does make it way more, you're like, oh, I see what's going on. Because like, do you guys agree that when you understand what's going on, you're like, oh, okay, you can like relax into it, right? When you know and you get it, you understand that like it's all part of it, as opposed to like you got earmuffs on, you're blindfolded, all this stuff is hitting you and you have no fucking idea what's happening. That's really confusing, right? Exactly. No pain, no gain. It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah, because no pain, no gain is totally a matrix slave plugin. All right. And actually, yeah, you guys, like when we try to rush it, we can actually make it way worse on ourselves. And we don't have to do it that way. But so to kind of bring it all together before we do our light body activation, like, have you guys all heard of Joe Dispenza or The Emotion Code, which is a really great book? So Joe Dispenza in his breath work and his meditations, like he's basically everything that I'm telling you guys today, he is putting medical and science to, right? And he's healing people. What I'm telling you today is how he's healing people. He's healing people because he recognizes that anything that is causing disease, distortion in the physical body is a distortion. It's not true. It's true for us when we're experiencing it. Please get, you guys, I'm never like when I say stuff is not real or it's an illusion, I also recognize that when we're experiencing it, it's very real. Like I recognize when I was in my depression, it was real. Now from this side, I understand that my depression was a result of me buying into the illusion, right? Okay. So Joe Dispenza recognizes from his medical perspective how the body works and how physiologically it connects with the mind and the emotions and the energy, right? And so he recognizes that by moving people into the state where their conscious mind accepts they can have health, that then the subconscious mind is going to create health. And so it's the same with all of this. Ultimately, whatever we believe, we're creating. Okay. And so what he's doing with people is like the forefront of our natural state. So as we move higher and higher into more of our higher consciousness, what he's doing is going to become like the normal, because that's the like the body can do that if the conscious and subconscious and emotional frequency are all on board. That's the alignment piece. Okay. Exactly, Lisa, right? Because we can completely affect our body in the moment. We can affect any aspect of our lives in the moment. Dispenza, Spenza. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's got some great books and meditations and all kinds of stuff. But basically, he's doing from like a physiological perspective when he gets people there and he does his events and he works with you, right? Like that's this, it's the same work, right? It's different facets of the same work. That's what this is all about. It's all about that. Of course, I don't have a doctor before my name, so people don't take me as seriously. And I also talk about aliens. It does not. The galactic counterpart to Joe Dispenza. But seriously, right? My approach is the emotions, right? Really getting into the emotions. And so it's understanding that essentially we have been creating unconsciously. Okay. Um, and this is the last piece I want to give you guys before we do our activation. How you guys feeling? Good? We need doctors like you. Be awesome one day. I'm going to become a doctor of divinity. Actually, that's my next thing. I'm becoming a practitioner, a spiritual practitioner of being able to do, mind treatments, spiritual mind treatment. And then the next step after that is my doctor of divinity. So stay tuned. I will be a Dr. Lindsay of divinity. So here's another one of my beautiful masterpiece drawings. And this was kind of the depiction of what was coming through to be able to like drop this into your mind to get you guys to understand. Okay, so here we have the physical body, right? And you'll notice like the triangle is pointing down, right? Anchoring us to the earth, to the physical experience, because we do, right? We want to embrace this physical experience. We want to enjoy this. It's all part of the journey. We came here for a reason, right? This isn't about leaving that diseased body behind. It's about the body moving into being able to heal itself and ascend to be able to hold the higher consciousness, right? This is why, you guys, people are going to be leaving the earth plane more and more and more right now. People are checking out, they're ending their lives, they're dying of different, illnesses and diseases. They're just opting out because they don't want that. Maybe they're just not soul contracted, right? Free will is real. Maybe their bodies are too far gone. Maybe they're just not here for that. So they're going, and that's fine, right? So we want to embrace the physical and our connection to the earth. Then we also have soul, spirit, energy, right? That higher flow of energy that connects us to the higher consciousness. And a gnat just flew in my nose. That was pretty horrible. Um, and what we see now is so many people are either stuck down here or they're trying to escape up here. Ascension is about joining the two in the middle, being the bridge, and understanding that through the mind and mental plane and the emotional bodies we create. And this is the sideways, the parallel, right? Which is the 4D bridge. And that's what we're on right now, you guys. Please get, right? We are in the reason coming back around. Somebody said that they found themselves oscillating between like fear and trust. That is because in 4D, everything exists, you guys. All timelines, all possibilities exist. And depending on what you're focused on with your mind and what you're feeding and what your emotional frequency is, again, I'm going to go deeper on this in our next 2 webinars. That's what's determining which reality you're experiencing. Okay. So you may be experiencing an awesome reality when it comes to your health and wellness because these things are all in alignment with health and wellness. But maybe when it comes to love and relationships, you fucking can't keep a partner to save your life, right? And everything always ends up whatever, right? It doesn't even have to be that extreme, but maybe there's a misalignment, or maybe it's in the money realm, right? We all have the areas. And so where this is at is what's going to determine where in this 4D reality you're playing, right? Are you playing in the earth realm where you have the things and you're empowered and you have the answers and you can create what you want? Or are you on the other extreme, or are you somewhere in between? Most people are somewhere in between, and you're ready, right? Give me a yes if you know you're ready to move into the side where it's like you get it in all areas and you feel empowered in all areas, right? Instead of just the 1 or 2 areas where you're like, yeah, great, I have this, but this is what I want, right? Because it's the things that you want and desire, like that's the soul work. That's the soul work, right? So if it's you struggle with love and relationships, but you really have this like deep desire for that connected partnership and it seems to have eluded you, that's your soul work, right? If it's the health and wellness and you just want to be healthy and you seem to struggle with all of these physical chronic bullshit, your soul work is that. If it's the money track, right? For me, that what my biggest soul work was the money and abundance track. Like lifetimes of scarcity, lack, and poverty codes had to be deactivated and cleared and healed so that I could start actually truly living in abundance. And abundance is more than just physical money, right? That's just one piece of it. But so do you guys get that? Creative expression, right? If you feel stifled and all you want is to be free, that's your soul work, right? We don't all have to we're not all in slave grid programming in all the areas. There's going to be some areas you're awesome in and aligned, and then the other ones, that's the soul work, right? And it's that soul work that I invite you to come and do, you know, by working with me, by coming and working with me either one-on-one or in one of my programs. All right. But more about that later. Yes. All right. You guys are champs. We're almost done. Ready for it all now. Yes. Right. You fuck yes to having it all. So the last piece, right? The push pull, right? Of like the little bit of results, rebound, a little bit of results, rebound. Give me a yes in the comments if you know you have experienced results, rebound, results, rebound, or you get the results in some area, but then not in other areas, right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, this is that push pull. All right. This is because these are the areas we have the attachments in. Okay. It's the gap between what we know is possible for us and what we're attaching to that's a distortion. That gap is the suffering. And say it again. What we know to be true and what we know is possible. So part of us, our higher self knows we can have the health, we can have the love, we can have the abundance, we can have the freedom, the expression, all the things. We can live our purpose. We know it. But then there's this program that doubts it. And there's this fucking program that's not letting it in. And for some reason that we can't see, we're attached to that program. And there's the gap. And that gap is the suffering. That gap is what creates the oscillation and the rebound. So how do we identify the attachments? Question of the ages, right? Part of this is recognizing, part of the process of how is recognizing that pieces of these lower consciousness programs, matrix programs that we're attached to, when they activate, we cling on in familiarity. We cling on because it's what we know. And we have this fear of the unknown. Well, I know I want that, but this is what I know. Is it safe for me to go? This is what I know. Right? And the more we have unhealed little limited trauma narratives playing out, we're not going to feel safe to go to that unknown, and we're going to cling to what we know, even if what we know sucks. Right? That's the unhealed stuff, you guys. Keeps us in the green sweatpants. For those of you that did the challenge with me, you guys remember the green sweatpants, right? So how do we do it? We do the fucking work. We come in, we do the deeper work, we do the clearing, we do the healing, we do the emotional alchemy, we do the timeline alchemy, we do the trauma work. Come and work, right? Come and do it. I keep clinging to the green sweatpants, Lisa. I see all of you. It's the unknown that causes you the anxiety. Exactly. And that's the thing that keeps us in. So it's the very thing, right? That's why, guys, the pain, the trauma, the thing we don't want to heal, the thing that's keeping us anchored in the shit that we don't want, that path is the direct path for those of you that want to know your purpose. It's through that door you don't want to go through. It's through the door that you don't want to go through. Yeah. Let it land. And what do? We look everywhere else. I did it. Please get, you guys, I did it. I did it in my business. I was looking externally. I was hiring coaches to teach me strategy and give me the answers because I didn't want to go there. And it wasn't until nothing worked, and I was ready to quit, that I went there and I came out the other side ready to fly, understanding my purpose, understanding my message, understanding my mission. And it's just all success since then. And that's why I don't believe that there's any need to, there's no pressure in any of this, because for any of us, when we're ready, it's perfect. And when the time is right, it's perfect. And I also have a belief that we're soul contracted to do this work, right? And we're not going to, our souls, our higher self is going to lead us where, even if we have to take a detour, we're still going to get there. Right? And that's why the healing and the alchemy work that I do is the how. And I wish that I could give you guys all of that in, an hour and a half webinar, a 4-part webinar series, but it's a journey, right? It's a journey. It's a much bigger journey that we have to commit to. And we have to be ready to take, because there's no going back from this. There's no going back from this moment. So we're going to do a quick activation. We're probably going to go about 5 minutes over past 2. So, because it's not a long activation, you're just going to be tuning in and having your light bodies activated in your conscious mind. And I just really want you to, before we do that, I want you all to just reflect for a moment, Give yourself a body a little shake out, clear that cache again, right? Let yourself be open. Drop in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from this second part. What was the favorite thing that you heard or that I said or that you felt or that you received? And then I also want you all to just take a moment and reflect and make a decision. Because yes, you've received a lot of information that's going to shift and change you for sure. 100%. And I want you to just close your eyes after you drop in the comments what your favorite part was from this second part. And I want you to just make a decision for yourself. If you're leaping, if you're ready, if you're committed, or you're not, because this light body activation, there's really no going back from there. There's no going back. Once you're consciously aware of your light body and how expansive and powerful you are, there's no going back. So if you like your green sweatpants, or you like the back and forth, or you like the unknown of getting dragged around, you can exit now and not receive this activation. But if you know you want to be in the driver's seat, your higher self in the driver's seat, and you want to release the puppet strings, this is the first piece of this journey right here. So everything we've done today, including like this whole activation series is going to be the pre-work for people that are coming and doing like the full portal program, right? So please get that you guys are receiving like the full foundation of where I start, even in working with people more deeply. So just so you understand, like there's power in this. Yes, it's only like the beginning, because obviously, like I said, right, I can't give it to you all in 4 1.5-hour classes. It's a much bigger journey that you'll learn more about as we go on. But this is a start. This is where we get started. And those of you that know you're already ready to come and do more, when we're done, I'll give you a link and we can chat. But awesome. All right, good. So I'm just reading your comments. I want you guys to start to get comfortable. I want you to sit up, sit back. Purpose will come from the pain and struggles. Yes, yes, and yes. Looking outside of yourself. Soul contract. I can run and hide. Patty, I see you. Lisa. Yes. Lori. Beautiful. All right, you guys, take a big breath in. Fill up your belly. Feel at the top of the inhale, feel your belly expand out and hold it at the top for a moment. And exhale it out, let it go. Good. Another big breath in, pausing at the top. Exhale it out, let it go. Good. Next inhale, I want you to bring those hands in to your heart, palms together. Let your eyes drift closed if they're not already. Feel that expansion. Begin to rub your palms together, just generating heat and electricity. Hold that inhale for as long as you can, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and let it go. Keep rubbing your palms together, generating heat, generating friction, focusing on your breath. Just taking a moment to invite my Arcturian friends in and supporting this expansion of the architecture of each of these beautiful beings receiving this live or on the recording. Keep rubbing those palms together, inviting in the higher consciousnesses, the beautiful higher souls and soul families of all of these beautiful beings receiving this live or on the recording to come in and support this. Of course, my beautiful Syrian and Arcturian matrix friends to support emotional and physical healing. Good. Okay, generating nice heat. You should feel heat building between those palms. Go ahead and stop. And I want you to just bring your palms now about 1 inch apart. Close your eyes. This isn't a visual process. Keep focusing on your breath. And I want you to just notice here what you are feeling between your palms. I want you to just feel, maybe you're feeling warmth, maybe it's tingling, maybe it feels like electricity. Just inviting in beautiful higher consciousness, white light, activating that energy between the palms. Maybe you can begin to see that white light in your mind's eye. Feeling that energy. And I want you to now just notice. Breathing into your heart space. This is also not a process from the mind. Breathe into your heart space. Expanding the architecture of the heart chakra, the heart field portal. Activating the resonance of the heart field portal. My Arcturian friends, thank you. Just breathing into your heart here. I want you to drop all your attention, listening to my voice, just dropping your attention down into your heart field, your heart portal, maybe feeling your heartbeat, maybe feeling your ribs and your lungs expand in and out with your breath. Just inviting in this beautiful pink frequency coming in, opening, aligning, expanding your heart. You may feel pressure. You might feel a softness, a glowy feeling. Whatever you're experiencing is perfect. You may see color, visualize, and it's all perfect. Just continuing to pour that beautiful pink frequency into these heart spaces. I want you to now take those hands and place them right over left, left over right, doesn't matter, on top of your heart space. And just breathe here into your heart field. Just feel that beautiful frequency coming in. Maybe beginning to just feel a gentle feeling washing over you, a softness, a loving, glowy feeling. Maybe it's completely unconscious, and that's perfect. Just welcoming in the beautiful consciousnesses of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. Higher consciousness, true, divine, masculine and feminine love. Just a few more moments there, really just getting deep into the activation of your hearts. Beautiful. Now, out in front of your heart space, I want you to begin to envision just a beautiful white, turquoise white flame or ball of light, just spinning out in front of your heart field. And then just feeling that project into your heart space and throughout the back behind you. So there's this line connecting these beautiful turquoise white balls of light, of flame. And then see those lines coming up on a diagonal from the front and back, connecting at a single point above your crown. So creating like a triangle. And then from that single point above your crown, just recognizing this light as it just activates all around you. Feeling that light activating all around you again, maybe feeling that electricity, maybe feeling that white light just forming around you like an egg. My Arcturian friends supporting this, and Syrian and Andromedan friends as well. This full healing matrix right now. Maybe feeling in your physical body areas where that light is beginning to work and shift and move things, trusting that that's perfect. Maybe just feeling your body beginning to sway, softening, opening. Good. Now, in your next breath, I want you to just breathe down into your root chakra and just see that red cord, that grounding cord connecting you to the earth, plugging you in all the way to the crystalline core of the 5D Gaia consciousness, the 5D earth, plugging you in and letting that energy and that frequency travel up, connecting into your physical body through your feet, also traveling through this light body, this beautiful activated sphere of light around you. That same Gaia frequency, and inviting in the beautiful consciousness of Gaia as a being, of a higher consciousness being, to support this process. Thank you. You may feel your palms tingling, your heart expanding, and that's perfect. And then just seeing that same energy spiral up through your spine, traveling all the way up through your energy centers, coming out the crown of your head, where it's going to continue on through that single point and out into your soul star portal, your divine gateway portal, plugging you in all the way to the galactic sun at the center of all things, frequency. And then just seeing that same energy now spiraling down, recognizing that you are a fractal of source. You are source in motion. You are here having an experience, and just recognizing, hands on the heart, taking this moment, breathing in deeply, and just recognizing the perfection in all of this journey, this experience, recognizing the perfection of the physical body as it goes through its ascension process, recognizing the divine intelligence that is beyond this process, recognizing the mental body and its contribution, your emotions, your energy body, your light body, recognizing yourself as this beautiful fractal of source of consciousness, here having an experience, and just breathing in the perfection and the recognition of that, recognizing that that same energy that travels through, that creates mountains, that holds the earth in perfect balance, has also created each one of you and flows through you. And just in this moment, declaring and saying yes to your evolution, saying yes to your ascension, saying yes to your higher purpose. Just saying yes. I say yes to all of you, for all of you, for these soul contracts, for this soul purpose to be activated, for you to, each of you, to move through your path, your healing, your journey, your ascension, to be able to emerge out the other side as the beautiful conduits of your own soul mission and message and awakening. And just holding each of you in so much gratitude for your willingness to show up and take this journey, and seeing it in completion, knowing that it is done, knowing that each one of you are moving through and stepping out into the world to be the leaders, the teachers, the guides, the healers, the coaches, the writers, the artists, whatever it is, the creators that you came here to be. Seeing each of you in the perfection and the doneness of that. Each of you consciously creating the realities you desire to create, whatever that looks like, and holding the perfection in that. And just in this next moment, in this next breath, releasing this beautiful words to consciousness, to our higher selves, knowing that it is done, because we have the power to speak our words into existence. So we know that it is done. We do not need to know the how. We just need to show up and trust the journey, take the next indicated step, and say yes to it. And together we release that to the divine mind, knowing that it is done, releasing it up and saying, and so it is. And then just taking a moment for each of you to receive any indication of action or things for you to focus on or do. Just allowing that to float into your consciousness, allowing that to come into your awareness. Maybe you'll get a direct answer right now, and maybe it'll come through later, and that's perfect. And then just coming back into this moment, taking a big breath in, shaking out the hands, shaking out the shoulders, roll out the neck, get up and move your body, right? Shake it out, let it all go. Get those bodies moving. Take some water, take any notes that you feel like you want to jot down. So you guys are all integrating beautifully. There's a lot integrating in your fields. Please get that. I would love, 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 love to hear from you in the comments. How was that experience for you? What did you feel? What was your takeaways? Were relaxing and tingly? Good. Beautiful, relaxing, going to take a nap. Good. All right, you guys. So a couple pieces of integration. You're also going to receive an email with these integration steps, as well as that link to find all the replays. So Lori, right? Feeling so at ease, feeling relaxed. You guys, that's your natural state. Please get that. That's your natural state. So the work then is learning to calibrate to that so it can be your natural state held. Not to say we don't still have, the human experience, but we come back to that as our natural state. Oh yeah, perfect, Lisa. Yep, go back in and do it. So a couple things, you guys. Go drink some water, rest, right? Journal. Trust that if stuff is coming up, it's all part of it. Get your butts on Monday's call for the emotional piece. We're going to be doing some emotional alchemy. I'll be going deeper on what some of those like healing processes are, right? How to identify limiting beliefs and the commands and, moving through timelines and all of that. So it's going to be really good and it's really going to serve you, because after this light body activation, don't be surprised if over the weekend you start noticing stuff, okay? Post in the Facebook group, you guys. Please don't hesitate to share in the Facebook group. So let me give you guys a couple links here. So come and hang out in the Facebook group. Share your takeaways, ask your questions. Please don't hesitate to post on social media about any of this. So there's the Facebook group. Cool, you guys. Now, I'm not going to go too far into it because I'll talk to you guys more about it as we go along. But if any of you are already feeling the indication that you want to go deeper, I'm just going to give you the link. You can book a free call with me. We can chat and feel out what it would look like and how it would work and all of that to be able to come and do this deeper work. If you're ready for the portal or for some one-on-one coaching, I will invite you to come and do that. Otherwise, I really hope to see you guys in the Facebook group. Like I said, post your takeaways, ask your questions, share your experience as you go through the weekend. Definitely, definitely give yourself the grace to have some rest, journal, go outside and ground. Whoops. Wow, you guys, my tech is really like not cooperating today. I just want to take one final moment and really thank you all and honor you all, whether you were here live or you're watching this later as the replay. I really recognize and honor every single one of you for showing up, for being willing to play, for being willing to receive these codes and these templates and these activations, for being committed to your own journey. Like, I see you, I recognize you. All right. Trust and believe you're right where you need to be. Oh, Patty. Yes. Right. Always thought my mother was mad at me since I was very, very young. She was afraid of me and my light and was reminded, and that's the thing, right, Patty? So you guys, that's the perfect example. That's the state that we keep creating from. That fear of someone getting mad at us for our light or someone telling us that we're wrong. So perfect, Patty, because Monday is going to be all about emotional alchemy. And we are going to get in there and we're going to start talking about how we break up these commands, how we identify these commands, how we start to heal, and why this work is so important. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I will see you all Monday. Check your emails. Come join us in the Facebook group. Go forth. Spread the magic, share this replay if you know somebody that can benefit from it. Be wildly you. You guys have it all. Have a beautiful rest of your day and weekend. Be the lights that you are. Bye.